Just a little slow. Just a little slow. How's it going this morning, everybody? Yes, I'm really streaming this time. I know there's been a few false alarms recently. Sorry about that. Tech Turtle, how you doing, buddy? Who else we got? Private Stewie. Thanks for being here. What's with the squirrel reference? Oh, really, Daxmic? Well, if you haven't been around my stream much, the squirrel is because I bounce around from topic to topic a lot. Just like the dog in Up when he sees a squirrel. So that's where it comes from. We squirrel around, bounce from topic to topic all the dang time. Oh, it's working this time. I got a check mark. Violent Pooh, that's fantastic. Violent Pooh is a person. I don't just say that for fun. How's everybody doing? All right. I'm just putting together a couple things here. So super early this morning. Hey, that's you. That's right. That's you. So it's working. I push it and I see a check mark. So I did that little test a minute ago. Hopefully it didn't throw everybody off too badly. But when I did that little test, it didn't give me a check mark like it was successful. But now it is. Wow, this is early. Yeah, it is. So you can even see like the sunlight's coming in my window here. Like the sun, never sitting here at this time of day. But today is a little bit different day because our oldest boy, Jackson, is turning 18. He's turning 18. Makes me old. He's turning 18. And for his 18th birthday, he wanted to take some friends and just go somewhere that's not home and hang out. So we are going down to St. George, which is a little, well, not little town, but it's a few hours south of here where it's a little warmer. Not that it's not warm here. But anyways, we're going down there, just him and a few friends and me. I'm just kind of supervising. I told him my job is just to keep him from going to jail. So we're going down there and they wanted to leave early. So I said, well, I got to get a stream in first. So here we are. Is there a way in custom button to have no label? I'm pretty sure there is. Let's check and see. Let's pull up Home Assistant somewhere. So somewhere in there, is John here yet today? So John, and I'll get his last name right once I look at it. But we're going to have, I've arranged for a guest this morning. John is the guy who makes these DIY power monitoring boards that I started using, that Travis did a video on. And they're pretty awesome. I got mine installed. So we're going to talk to John about that. And then I've got an amazingly awesome announcement to make. Where's my background not working? I wonder if it's because there was an update to to the animated background, and it looks like it took a dump on me. That's okay. Anyways, let's see. Custom button with no label. We can look at my custom buttons real quick and just see. You can make show state false, and you can take the name off. That'll probably work. Let's try one. We can just do this and then put it back to normal. Just cut those out. Show state false. And then cut the name out. And see what happens. And it still says quiet cool. I wonder why. Just upgraded to 109.6 before the stream. How's it working? Is it working? Show label false. Yeah. That maybe show label, I guess, huh? I didn't try show label. I want my name back in there. Show state. But if I put show label, well, try show label and let me know how it works. That way I don't have to do it. Oh, the heater's on downstairs. Well, it is 46 degrees outside. It's not going to be a day for heaters around here. It's going to be a day for air conditioning. All right. Well, I'm not going to be able to have this blank old background like that. We're not going to be able to tolerate that. So we better change the theme. Maybe I just need to change the theme and that'll all make it all better. Nope, still going to white. So I did something wrong. I'm sure there's a custom, there's an update for that. That's why. Okay, I've been ignoring the stream or the chat here. Let's see what's going on. Reminder, guys, if you prefer to watch on YouTube, please open Twitch stream, even if you leave it on mute in the other tab. That's right. We're trying to get up to 75 average viewers on Twitch so we can do another 12-hour stream. How did I make my my icons there animated? I did it. Wait, I did the wrong one. I did it with, oh, I took the name out. It didn't save. Name, show state. Oh, I want show state true. Save. Yeah, there we go. The way you do it is with this. So starts out, this is custom button card. It starts out with spin false. So that means just by default, it's not going to spin the icon. But you can change the icon and other CSS factors, I guess. I don't know what you want to call them. Color and size even maybe and things. By using this state option. So you put state in there. And then if the state value is equal to on, then the spin will be true. That's what makes it spin. This one didn't work. I think I got it backwards. Don't worry about this one. We can look at a different one that's a better example. But you can also make them blink. Let's go look at my car charger one. This one here. This is a better example. So this one has several states. So my car charger, my beautiful Nissan Leaf car charger can be in several states. It can be in charging state. And if it's charging, then I want the icon to be yellow and I want it to spin. So that's what these do. Another potential state for this icon is plugged. That's just the way the sensor on the charger feeds back, gives its state to Home Assistant. It says I'm plugged in, which is what it is right now. In that case, it's green and it's not spinning because that's default is to not spin. Then if it's on standby, standby is when it's not plugged in. So if I come home and I forget to plug it in, the sensor will show standby as the state. When the state is standby, the color will be red, and then it will do this little thing. Styles, card, animation, blink, 2-second, ease, infinite. So it will be red, and it will be kind of going in and out like this, kind of blinking, faded blinking. So it get my attention, so I know I need to go charge it. So that's all part of the custom button card. If you go look at the custom button card GitHub, the amount of options that you have are staggering. I will drop this in El Chato. If I remove the name, it pulls it from the entity. Did you try the label one? Did you try no label? I didn't look at it. We can look. I mean, this is where it's going to be. This is where it's going to be. Main options, action, state, available operators, layout, template, style. So look in here. Look in there. There's got to be a way in there somewhere. All right. Brenda Man just subscribed. Thank you very much. It's already time for it. What would you like? So unicorns or planes? So unicorns or planes. In the meantime, we'll do this one, and then we'll do another one for you when you decide. Oh, you know what I needed to do? Double streaming. Awesome. Planes. Okay. I like that one too. Wait till that goes. Wait till it goes. Come on. Get over with. Get it over with. Great. Are you running Home Assistant in Proxmox on a Windows PC? No. So see, Washburn, the way Proxmox works is it runs on the bare metal. Proxmox is the operating system. It's a version of Linux that is set up just to run virtual machines. I'm hitting markers here, Pooh, for you. It's set up just to run virtual machines. And so you install that as the operating system, Proxmox as the operating system. And then you just start installing virtual machines in Proxmox. So I have a small little computer. It's a little single board computer. It's a Nook, but it doesn't have to be a Nook. There's plenty of good little single board computers can still work. And then I've actually got several Home Assistant installations on there, plus something for a container, whatever you want to call it, for Tuya Convert. And you could install several other different operating systems. You could install Windows on there if you wanted to as a virtual machine. You could probably install, I don't know if you could do Mac or not based on the hardware, but you can install other versions of Linux. You could do a lot of different things with it. Now, thank you, Scythium. And this is it because it's early morning, so we need this. Boop, 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 boop. Cheers. A cold carbonated coffee. Okay. Don't tell the boss I'm here. Meant to be working. Shh. We're not going to tell on you, Steve. We are not going to tell on you. 10.4. All right, you got it. Windows doesn't run great as a VM from personal experience. Probably true. Probably true. All right, Renew Savaro. Let's do some of this for you. You know what I need to do? I need to move my marker to a different screen. Yeah, you like that? You got the icons, right? In Twitch, you have cool icons you can use as well. New, different little cool icons you can use. And there's a button for sound. Did you see that? I only have one sound in there right now, but all right, I'm not able to update Home Assistant on Proxmox. It shows Docker error pulling image. Check to make sure that you've got enough hard drive space. That would be my first guess. It's just a guess, but that's what would be my first guess. From South Africa. All right, we're on early enough that the folks in South Africa are still awake, huh? Mac has a lot of hardware dependencies. It'll be tough to install a VM. I think you're right. I think you're right. Dibby a dip. Dib. I see 7 sounds. Oh, really? So maybe it's got a lot of the default sounds are in there, huh? Check your DNS server is a public one. Okay, there you go. Might be another problem there. This stream is sponsored by Dr. Pepper's. What sounds? There should be a little button there somewhere that says sounds. You can call me DD. Will do, DD. All right, I'll remember that. Okay, do we got John? John, are you here? Listening while working. Hey, DigiBlur, check this out, brother. Check this out. Don't look at my ugly background because I updated it last night. I need to fix something. But check this out. I got to show you. Got to show you. What I got right here. Look at me. This is my power monitoring. I have not done anything to really make it look good, but here it is. And the way I've got it so far, so this power monitoring board, hit my marker. So this power monitoring board is, where's my extra one? Yeah? Oh, here it is. We talked about this a few streams back. Turn on the camera. There we go. We talked about this a few streams back. This is a DIY power monitoring board. The name of the place where it's addicting. Yeah, I bet. I'm already thinking I need to stack something on top of it. I already need more. How many do I have of this? I just have one right now. Well, this one I got, I probably bought this 9 months ago. And then John, the guy who makes them, has made some improvements. So I actually have a newer one that I installed. And then this one I've just got sitting here. It's a demo. It's still good. It's just not quite as good as the newest one. Yeah, come on, let's do it. We'll do it. We'll do it, DD. We'll do it. Anyways, let me show you this. What's it called? Is it Circuit Setup? It's got a very generic name. I think it's called Circuit Setup. Expandable. Here we go. Yeah. Circuit setup. Expandable 6-channel ESP32 energy meter. Oh, that's the GitHub for it. I should have seen that coming. Circuit setup. Where's his actual power management circuit setup? Here we go. Oh, there we go. I'm basic. Circuit setup. There's John. John, you got a microphone ready? You can get on here and tell us a little bit about it. This is it right here. And I guess you can do either these connectors, which are pretty nice, or you can do screw connectors. So how does it work? Current coils? Yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right, Sven. Microphone, right. So yes, the way you set this up is, oh, look at how many you can stack. My word, look at that. Sheesh. John's here in chat. Great board and crazy accurate. Yeah, that's the big things. Need to redo my video on it with the new sensors. All right. Sam, thank you very much. Can't see it. Somebody turn my lights on. Where's the pager? Is the pager not working? Is the pager not working? All right, here's the link for you. We need to give more people pager privileges. Where's Blade this morning? Where's Sir Goodenough this morning? Page. All right. So the way it works is, oh, there it goes. Now the pager came on. It worked. Wasted 48 hours trying to configure Home Assistant remote keyboard integration for my Amazon Fire TV remote, but I failed. I gave up now. I'm sorry, DD. That is a sucky feeling when you work so hard to try and get something you get something hooked up and then it kind of goes south on you. I'm sorry about that. That does happen, unfortunately. Happens to the best of us and the worst of us, like me. Major delay. That's okay. Yeah, so here anyways, it works with clamp on amp meters like this. And I found out that my board, your board is somewhere between New York and Toronto. All right. Well, hopefully that's somewhere in your neighborhood. So you clamp on these amp meters. It does require an AC power supply. You can't do this with a regular DC power supply. Before you buy all of your coils here, your clamps, make sure you know what size the wires are. For some reason, well, not for some reason, for good reason, the main wires that come into my house are big. They're 4/0 wire, 16 millimeter, and these clamps don't fit. So right now, I gotta get a couple new clamps. Right now, what I've got is we have like a sub panel as well. So these are on this monitor, CT1 and CT2 are on the main input for the sub panel. And then CT3 and CT4 are on one of the air conditioning units. We have two. And then CT5 and 6 are on the other air conditioning unit. So do you see why I already need more than one of these? All right, found a mic. Okay, cool. Here we go. I'm going to put on my headphones. What's running in your house that use 1300 watts? When? Oh, right now? Right now? I don't know what's running. This is a whole panel. So that's a whole lot of stuff. That's probably the refrigerator and everything else. 19 millimeter clamps are readily available. That's what I'm going to need. I think I might be able to get away with 16. Because it is just barely 16, but whatever. That's because that wiring is for big amps. Yeah, that's right, it is. That is right. Made a few more bug fixes. I'm supposed to do this pretty decent. Okay, good. Sorry, reading some things here. Sweet. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay. Let me find John. Deglavina. John Deglavina. Okay, buddy, here you go. Voice call. Coming at you. Let's see. Can you guys hear Jackson singing in the shower? He is. Oh, it's on Twitch. Or not on Twitch. It's on Discord, John. It's on Discord. Can it be used to monitor a 240 volt, 5,000 watt garage heater on a dedicated circuit? Heck yeah, Kareem. Heck yeah, it can. You bet. You bet. I mean, these clamps can be, these smaller ones go up to 100 amps. And then bigger ones can go 400 amps or whatever. But what? So 240. Will the board work with 240 or just with other clamps? So if you wanted to say you've got a 240 volt circuit, like I do for the air conditionings, for the air conditioners, you'll have to make a separate circuit, a separate sensor, and just add the load together. So you just make like, well, we can do that today. We make a separate sensor that just combines those two, just adds them together. You should try RTX Voice if you have NVIDIA GPU. It's wonderful. Oh, cool. Works fine on 240, Mark says. Oh, wait, there's John. John's trying to work out his sound. All right, there he is. Okay, now the big question is, can everybody else hear you? No, probably not. Now I bet you they can. Go ahead and say hi to everybody, John.
Hey, everyone. How you doing?
Okay. Can you guys hear him? There's probably a little crazy echo, right? Wilhelm, let me know if you need help updating your background config. Oh, thanks. Wilhelm's here. Why add them together? Is it 3-phase? It's 2-phase. It's a 240. So if you've got, so you'll have load on one and load on the other. Is that true, John?
Yeah, you measure the voltage from each side of the meter. So the first IC for CTs 1 through 3 is a voltage for 1, and you can measure a second one if you want to, which will go to the second IC, which is 4 through 6.
Oh, okay. So we have to make sure we got to make sure that I've got it set up correctly here. Now let me do something with your sound. Oh, I know what to do. I think I can do this. That may stop the echo for everybody else. Okay. All right. So are you seeing chat as well?
Yeah, I see the chat, but I'm using the mic on my phone right now, so.
Okay. Well, so tell me, because I'm super curious about stuff like this. How did you end up getting into this? What's your background? I know you kind of told me a little bit, but tell these fellas. How did you end up designing this power monitor? What was your reasoning?
Well, I wanted a power monitor like everyone else, and everything out there was really expensive. So I decided, since I knew roughly what I was doing with electronics, that I'd just make my own. Through trial and error for about 6 months, I came up with the split single phase meter, and from there I moved on to adding more channels. And there were things out there at the time that had multiple channels, but they were also really expensive, and they were just using basic analog digital ICs. So I decided to use the energy metering ICs, and they're a lot more accurate. They output a lot more data, and it's not just software that's making all the calculations. It's actually done in the IC, so it's a lot more efficient, and it's a lot faster. It's a lot more detailed. So there's a lot of reasons I went with that IC, and there's a lot of reasons that I wanted to make my own thing, because there's nothing out there really that wasn't inexpensive and wasn't, well, I think being expensive was the main motivator for me.
That's a good enough one. That's a good enough. So what about, so these guys are asking, and this is showing my ignorance. These guys are asking, they've got 243 phase. Can they use this? These guys internationally.
If they have 3-phase, this wouldn't work as well, just because it wouldn't be measuring 3 individual voltages, and it would output the wattage incorrectly, because unless the voltage and the current is in the same phase, it's not going to calculate the wattage correctly.
Okay.
It's going to calculate a power factor that's not correct. So for it to be 3-phase, ideally it would measure 3 separate voltages, which this IC can actually do. I just need to make something that will actually connect the three voltages.
I think you might have a market for that. if you're
people
looking for your next project, your next expansion here, I think we got plenty of folks over there on the other side of the pond, either pond.
Yeah, and any commercial application that uses 3-phase could also do that.
That's true. That's true.
This one's geared more towards single phase and split phase.
So tell me again about what you said. You mentioned something about which of these channels go to which IC. And so, for example, in my situation, maybe I hooked it up wrong. When I have, the 220-volt air conditioning breakers, and I've got them hooked up to like 5 and 6. Is that one on each IC? So I can add those, or did I do that wrong?
If it's on 5 and 6, and that should be fine. Yeah.
Okay. So, but if it were, but you don't want to mix what, like 2 and 6 or something, or 4 and 6? Those would be wrong.
Yeah, if you did that, you'd have to have one of the. Well, you know what? It's pulling from each phase anyway, since it's 240. You'd actually, if you went across 2, then it would have to be 2 current transformers facing the same way. But since you have it on the same IC, they should be opposite from each other.
They should be opposite from each other.
Yeah, so they have an arrow on them, and one is pointing probably towards the panel, and one would be pointing away from the panel because they're opposite phase.
Okay.
So
what about the main one? Go ahead.
No, if you didn't do that, then you'd have a negative voltage on one of them. I'm sorry,
Okay.
negative current.
Negative current. Let's see what I did. So we're going to turn on the air conditioning here, and we're going to see what happens over here with the sensors. It should crank up. Okay, so you can see 3 and 4. So I must have done it right. Because CT3 just jumped up to 7 amps, and CT4 is right around 7 amps as well.
Yeah, that looks right. Yeah.
Okay, so I did it right.
The wattage is also right, because that must be right. Assuming that everything's balanced between the 2 phases. Yeah.
It's pretty close, it looks like.
Yeah, some appliances, say like an electric dryer, they won't be balanced between both phases. So you'll have one line that's just for like 120-volt electronics, and one that just pulls for the heater, the element in the dryer. So
Gotcha.
not all appliances that are 240-volt do that balanced.
Gotcha. Well, these guys in Europe, they got 3-phase in their house for cooking. Wow.
Yeah, I guess some of them do.
Wow. Ooh, okay, I got to turn the air conditioning off because it's only 40 degrees outside. It's blowing air conditioning on me now. But it works. It works.
I think
all right, so
have 240-volt single phase.
You do. Most of them have 240 single phase?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just poking through some of these questions. I want to make sure we answer a lot of these questions. These are going to be a lot more intelligent questions than what I'm going to come up with. So thank you for being here to answer them.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad to.
It's common in Europe to have 3-phase 400 volts. Good gravy. It's like a lightning strike. Okay, maybe it's not quite that bad. Induction place has 2 phases. Domestic is 240 single phase. Man. I didn't realize that. I guess I thought it was when, I knew that they were running things on 240, but I just thought they were doing it the same way we're doing it with, 2 hot wires. Guess not.
No, it's all direct. So, um, one other thing, if you're in Europe, you most likely have 50 hertz power. This can
Oh, right.
also this will also have a setting for that where you can say 50 hertz. And the only other thing you would need is an AC transformer to hook up to the higher voltage.
Right. Well, I was very impressed when I saw DigiBlur's video about it, and that was what convinced me. He was so excited about it. He's like, "Oh, this thing is awesome. It's so accurate and it's so stable." And I said, "Okay, I'm in."
Yeah, Travis is a great guy. He did a great video on it. And he really put it out there. And that's when I started getting a lot more orders.
Is that right? Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. You can see I'm just showing the history here of mine. I wonder what was going on back last night. Something was going on yesterday afternoon. Oh, I bet you that. See, I wonder what that was. It wasn't the air conditioning. Interesting. Oh, you know what? That might have been when I was moving them around. India also has 240 single phase. Some areas of the UK still get up to 250 volts. Sheesh. Zimbabwe, South Africa, generally 220 to 240. You see, I got a very international audience here, John. Very international.
Yeah. And I do ship to Europe. It does take a little longer right now due to COVID-19, but I do offer that.
And they can use this board, just have to do something different?
Well, yeah, they just need an AC transformer with their plug, and it goes from 240 volt to 9 volt or
Okay.
12 volt. And they just have to change the setting to 50 hertz.
Oh, and then otherwise it's good.
Yeah, it uses all the same current transformers. You might need, in some cases, a little bit higher amperage.
So Aaron's got a question here. He says, can you do device mapping based on current draw? Probably not, right? You don't have that kind of AI sort of machine learning built in at this point, I would expect.
There's nothing built in, but I have seen it done. You'd have to set up some type of map to say, okay, this device uses between this and this amount of current. And you know that amount of current on this CT is this device. So then you assign that amount of current to that device. That would be more useful for the split single phase meter, just because you don't have individual circuit monitoring. You'd have the main wires. But yeah, for the 6-channel, you're more likely just monitoring individual circuits. But you could, if you have a lot of appliances on one circuit, then you could certainly, split them out with some type of map.
Yeah. My main goal, this is my main goal. I want to know the air conditioning use exactly. So that's why I wanted to have, channels for the air conditioning units. And then I just want to know the whole thing all combined together. So for now, I've got these smaller clamps on the sub panel because that's what fits. But I measured last night and it's 16 millimeters. So I will get a couple of these and the 16 millimeter ones, and then I'll just clamp that on the main. So then I'll have one big main. This is everything. And that, for me, that's enough. I just want to know what I'm making on solar versus what I'm using from the panel. And then, if the air conditioner comes on. But maybe someday, maybe slowly I'll expand. What improvements do you have in the works? I know you came up with this version 1.4 not long ago. What more improvements do you have planned?
So I have a board that'll actually connect to this board. I call it a remote. So instead of having a whole bunch of wires coming off of this board, they'll have one wire coming off this board and going to 6 of the current transformer jacks.
Oh, okay.
So you'll notice it on the other board that I sent you, the newest one. It has a little footprint for a connector. At the
Uh-huh.
top, it's not, doesn't have the actual connector on it yet. That's for that board.
You don't have that board in the store right now, do you?
I don't know. It's not. I'm
Okay.
still testing and I'm making sure everything is working correctly, and that the wires that I'm using for it can handle everything. So that's coming though. And I have a lot of guys that have upwards of 36 channels, and they have 36 wires coming out of this one little box. It's kind of it can get cumbersome if you have a lot of them.
So Aaron here, who was asking the question about learning which device, he says, I'd definitely be interested in developing software to learn current draw per device. Total current draw using AI can determine what combination of devices, etc. Do you have anybody working with you on that? Do you have, I guess you don't have a project to try and develop that learning bit? Might have
I don't
some.
have anything in the works at the moment, and I'd be glad to have people go into the GitHub repository and see what I have so far, and go from there. Right now, it just uses, well, it obviously uses ESP Home, but I also have a version of, it's called Emon ESP, which is derived from the Open Energy Monitor project. And that all that is just a gateway to a MQTT and to Emon CMS, which is the software that can output graphs and go to your phone and everything. It's separate from ESP Home.
Right. And that's what I'm looking at here. And this is what, if you weren't using, I guess if you didn't use ESP Home, you can put this on the ESP32 and away you go, right? You still
Yeah,
have, you
that's
can
the
still
way.
interact with Home Assistant or other systems. It's got MQTT and you can get all this information.
Yeah, and I recently just released a new version of that fixes a couple errors and adds a couple features with the help of the community that was submitting pull requests on GitHub. So
Awesome.
I always welcome contributions.
Yeah. So if you've got, so Aaron or others, if you have the know-how and want to contribute, there you go. Is there an installation guide or anything in similar for the board? So there, DigiBlur did a video. Is he still here, Travis? He's still here? He was here for a minute at the beginning. DigiBlur did a video, and that's what I went by.
Yeah, so far his is the most comprehensive
Yeah.
for setup. There is some documentation between the 6-channel board and the split single phase board on how to set up the Emon CMS software and the Emon ESP. But right now there's not a whole lot, and I realize that it could be a lot better. So
one of the things, tell me about this. Now you're going to teach me a little bit, because I dropped out of, we were discussing electrical engineering, right? Beginnings the other day. I dropped out before we got into a lot of the information about something like this. It was interesting to hear what might happen if you were to take one of these clamps and put them on the wire here while there's current going through it and not have it connected to the board. That can be pretty awful. That was my understanding. Is that right? What will happen?
So if the internal diode were to fail on one of these and you didn't have it connected to the board, that's called an open circuit. And basically voltage will build up infinitely until the thing burns out. It can also give you a nice hefty shock. You obviously don't want to touch live current like that.
So do not clamp this on here and leave this disconnected from the board, correct?
Well, it's a very rare case that the diode in the current transformer would fail.
Okay.
And you'd have it disconnected. It'd have to fail first.
Okay.
In most of these current transformers, there's a diode, and on the board it's called a burden resistor. So as long as it's connected to either one of those, It's not going to
Okay.
open circuit. It's not going to build up a tremendous amount of voltage and melt.
Okay. I
So
thought I didn't realize that the diode in here would also protect that. I just from the way Travis was saying it, and something else I read somewhere, I guess they weren't counting on that diode part. They were just saying if it's not connected to this burden resistor, that's when this will start building up a tremendous amount of voltage. And I have to be honest and admit that I wanted to test it out. I didn't want to do it like in my house, but it was just too tempting. I thought, oh, I would like to see what that would do. Is anybody done a video like just, those like burn things up kind of displayed? Is that part of?
I have seen a video on it. A guy takes, I'm not sure what current transformer he's using, but he takes one and he connects it to something. You start to see the voltage go up on his multimeter. I don't think he lets it explode, but it definitely would. It definitely would melt if you let it.
Okay. All right. Maybe someday I'd like to try that.
There is a case where, well, you could damage a current transformer if you put it on a line that has a lot of current going through it and it's not rated for that amount of current.
Oh.
So that's the only, or it's just damaged, from the factory. But I have never seen that happen. So,
Okay.
but yeah, if you put a 10 amp current transformer on a 100 amp line and you run almost 100 amps through it, you're probably going to damage it.
So, somebody says Electro Boom entered the chat. I wish. Doesn't that be funny? He would try it. He'd probably put his tongue on it. So Travis is here. He says some clamps don't have the burden resistor. Okay. So that's a thing to watch out for. Well, I heeded Travis's warning and just made sure that I had these connected to the board here before I turned.
Yeah, it's always better to be safe. It's always better to be safe, and
it's not as much fun, but yeah, I guess it's better. Oh, all right. What other questions we got going here? That's how electrical workers get arc flash burns. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, I'll stay away. All right. Somebody's going to eat dinner. Get the Tesla coil kit from AliExpress. Same experiment, huh? So let's see. What else? Circuit board. Oh, if the circuit board didn't have power, don't cross the streams. Let's see. You don't want to come across the open terminal of a clamp. Why not use a female CT on the CT clamp and use the male on the board? Oh, I guess I see what I see what he's saying. Then you wouldn't have exposed. Yeah, that's another option. That's DDA trying to use AI machine learning to segregate the time we spent on each device, but power usage will be great input. Safety first. Mains can kill. Good deal. So, well, good times. I'm excited about this. Thanks for your help. I appreciate you being willing to answer my questions as I was setting it up and helping me to not destroy anything.
Yeah, no problem.
Somebody says, how would you change the frequency for us Europeans? Is it software inputs?
Yeah, in ESP Home, there's a setting, and for EMA and ESP, in the control panel, there's a setting for it. So it's pretty easy to do. Either way.
Let me make sure. Let's see, where's my power monitor? I just want to pop this out for a second. I don't think I have passwords in here, but okay, good. So this is for you curious folks out there. This is the ESP Home sketch, and this is a little different now from the one that Travis shared, right? Because of the changes that you made to the board.
Yeah, there's a couple of new features too in the latest dev build.
Frank's here. What are we doing today? Hey, Frank, we're starting out with the power monitor. Do you remember that one? I think Frank's got this too. This guy. We just got John here, the guy that made this, chatting with us. I am early this morning, aren't I? Way early. All of my clamps, the ones that I'm using right now, they're all the 100 amp clamps. When Travis was saying, oh, they're all super accurate, even if it's 100 amps and a 1 amp load, I thought, what the heck, just get a bunch of 100 amp clamps. So I did. And then I think in here somewhere is where the setting is to change it to 50 hertz. Right? I don't remember where, but it's in here. Update
Yeah, it's
interval.
under frequency, I think, or line frequency.
Frequency, yeah. Oh, so it's going to be up here. Substitutions.
Yeah, a little lower. Line 40 something. I just saw it.
Okay. Gain voltage CT. Phase B. CT amp. CT gain. 60 hertz right there. Line frequency. Okay. And there's two. Is there two places to change that?
Yeah, it would be for each.
Yeah, there is right there. Yeah, one for each.
IC.
One for each IC. You got it. Thank you. Cool. You just had it on the screen. I know. Oh man. All right. Let's see. I got that as well. P1 is awesome serial network. Let's see. Somebody was talking about. Oh, cool. I don't need it. My power meter has the serial port. Oh, that's right. That's right. Stinker. You guys in the Netherlands and your advanced civilization. 3-phase serial ports on your power meters. Goodness sakes. Chris says, love this product. This is what he's using. How many of us are using this now? How many of us have John's board already? All right. Hey, from the Dominican Republic. My power meters are so old, you have no idea, Thanos says. Don't want to say, but living an American dream. Cool. Well, if you guys, what other questions you have for John? I think I'm super happy with it. I need to do the combination to make sure my air conditioning shows up as one load. That's no big deal. And then I want to, I just got to get the bigger clamps to put them on the main thing. And then I'm probably set for a bit until I go crazy and decide I want to monitor every circuit. And that might happen someday.
Doc, by the way, if you want to put your AC on one current transformer, you can take, assuming it's big enough and you have enough wire in your box, you can take both wires and run them through the current transformer in opposite direction. Instead of using two channels, you can just use one.
Oh. So for the air conditioning, you could just use one. If you have, you'd have to loop the wire, right? You'd have to make it so one wire is going the other direction. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. Yep. That's what you do.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look at that and see if I have enough wire. I was a little disappointed in the shortness of some of those wires for sure. It wasn't easy to get them in there on all these things. Are there any ESP32s which would not work? Somebody asks. I believe so, but I'll let you answer that. Any ESP32 dev boards that would not work with this? Uh-oh. John's not answering. Uh-oh. While we figure out where John's audio went, the answer is yes. I remember if you look at these boards, there is 3 volts. The top pin here is 3 volts, and this one over here is ground. And at least something Travis said was, as long as your ESP32 board has those pins in those areas, then it should work. Now there is like a WeMOS or a D1 version of the ESP32 that, like, it's actually the one that Quindor uses on his board, which would not work because I believe it's the wrong shape. I'm digging one out right now. I think I got disconnected. Oh no. Are you there? Uh-oh. Twitch is being twitchy with us this morning. Twitch is still waking up this morning. Come on, I know I got one in here. Here we go, this one. So if you look at this, so a board like this is an ESP32, but I don't think that would work because the pins don't even go all the way down. It probably doesn't have all of the pins in the right place, you know. So this one, I would think not. You want one that looks more like this. Twitch is still here. Okay. I lost John. I lost him. Well, thank you, I guess, if we don't get you back. Thanks for being here, John. You may use the MHET live board. The one I have is the Node MCU one. The Node MCU ESP32. That's the one I used. And it works well. So, talked with John yesterday, and he told me you were doing this. Ordered mine after DigiBlur's video. Looks like a great product. It's pretty good, Duke. It's pretty good. I'm very happy with it. It's doing what I want to do for sure. Rip John. He's around here somewhere. I think he's still in the chat. He can type. Okay. John's going to be in here in the chat still. I bought an ESP32 that worked, but it did not fit in the printed box John sells. Oh, okay. I know you could probably modify the box STL file if you wanted to. John did send me a box that printed it well, and I actually printed. Travis had a box, an STL for a box that I used that didn't. Well, his did have a lid on it, but I just printed it like this, and this was what I was going to use. But then John sent me the new board, and he sent me the new box as well, so I just went with that. But this is good. It's summertime. We're going to be using a lot more power, and now we get to keep track of where that power's going, where it's coming from. Hey, Pedro. Well, thank you, John. I didn't get to say thank you on the live thing, and I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened to Discord. Discord can be dumb sometimes with those phone calls. We've had that experience before. Are you DrZzs? Oh, thank you. I'm reading this thing. Yeah, if you have Espressive 32, the antenna sticks out. Ah, that's what it is. Okay. Awesome, awesome. All right. Well, you guys can keep asking John questions. We can keep talking about this. Do I have pics of my installation? I will get them. I didn't take pictures initially. I was in a hurry. All right. Big subscriber. Thank you very much. Do you like unicorns or planes? So unicorns or planes, Gabriel. Thank you very much. I will take pictures when I get the right clamps, when I get the big clamps on the top one. That would be awesome. Wireless phone cam. Let's go. How can I tell if I have the new version of the board? You mean of John's circuit board? He's got a version number printed on there. So like this one, the version number is up in that corner. And this one says version 1.2, I think. And the newest version, I think, is 1.4. It is a pretty neat project. I didn't see unicorns or planes. We're going to do unicorns because we haven't done it yet. How's that sound? Go for unicorns, Gabriel. All right, I guessed right. Yeehaw! Unifart, unifart. And on Twitch, there's a unifart emoji. Look at this. There's a unifart emoji. Okay, next topic for today. We're already an hour in. I can't believe this. Did I miss the link to John's boards? Well, if you did, let's give it to you again. And everything that I post in the chat, any links that we post in the chat, also get copied over to a special channel in Discord just for live stream links. So they stay there forever. Forever. So here's live stream links. If I go all the way to the bottom. So if we ever share a live stream link or a link in a live stream and you're not sure where it was or how to find it, it should be in here. Might take a minute. Looks like it didn't quite go in there just now. All right. Hey, from Thailand. How's it going? It is going so well. It's going so good. Any idea when you will receive the Dig Uno? I have them. Quindor, when are we gonna fire off the for sale sign? When are we gonna say 100%? I know he was waiting for something with China, so early next week is what I think. Streaming at the crack of dawn. Am I hyped up on Dr. Pepper? Not enough. Not enough. Not yet. Quindor did. Oh, he just posted his? Oh, well then. Full announcement next week. Yeah, we're going to do a little video announcement. Oops. We're going to do a little video announcement about it when it comes up. So be ready, be ready. But give me, let's say, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday, something like that. We'll get it out. We tried adding a monitor sensor to the same ESP running WLED. Have I? I have not, Aaron. But if you've got Arduino skills, you can do that. It is certainly possible to, if you went, let's see, did that work? Yeah. So can you add a sensor or another device, motion sensor, light sensor, temperature sensor, whatever, to a WLED board? Yes, there are pins available, but you got to go into the Arduino sketch and do that yourself. I don't know if there are any pre-compiled binaries from WLED that has that. I'm not sure. I don't think so. That would be really cool if there was. I think something like a light sensor or motion sensor would be very useful. With enough space, you can add it to the user mod in WLED. Oh, okay. Cool. I haven't tried that, Brendan. How's that work? You like that? Do I have any recommendations on RGB light bulbs that don't need hubs? Oh, man, Josh. Recommendations for RGB light bulbs that don't need hubs. You just want like a regular screw into the light bulb, screw into the socket light bulb that doesn't need a hub. Man, anything that runs to you and you flash it. That's what I use. I've got a few of them, and there's a bajillion that would work. They're good to flash with Tuya convert, because otherwise you got to open it up and solder it, which is okay. Kinkani. Have I heard of Kinkani? I don't think so. What is that? Yeah, regular bulb. Yeah, let's RGB bulb. I would get one that's not Zigbee. They probably have Zigbee ones. I don't know for sure, but they probably do. I would get one that's Wi-Fi, not Zigbee. And then just look for one that has that says it uses Smart Life or something. I'm just going to pick this one because it says Amazon's Choice. More product details. Let's see somewhere if it says the app that it uses. Find the app. If it uses Smart Life, this looks like it has a different app. Look for one that uses Tuya or Smart Life or some derivative of that. Zigbee needs a hub. Yeah, you don't want that. DigiBlur did a good RGB bulb video. There you go. Check that out. Tasmatize your Tuya globes. That's right. That's what I do. Kinkani. Let's look up Kinkani real quick, and then we're going to get to business because we only got an hour left, and I want to talk about this She Who Shall Not Be Named notifications, actionable notifications. It's amazing. It's going to blow your mind. You're going to go, just get ready. You better go put a helmet on because it's going to go boom. Smart switch controller. What is this? Is this a different kind of chip? Long distance button switch modules. MQTT. Yeah, I haven't heard of this. Is this looks like it's for mostly industrial use? Is that right? Is that what I'm seeing? They're talking about putting it in big places. What do you know about it? I don't know anything about it. They use the ESP chipset. Okay. Maybe I'm not up to date on YouTube, but where do I find the Discord? Oh, Exclamation point D, Roger. Exclamation point D will send you to Discord. Or it will at least get you close. From there, you can link. Have a Sonoff RGB that I flashed with the help from DrZz's video. Stove Doctor does. That's right. I still am using the very first Sonoff B1 that I got. It's in Dawson's closet, and he uses it as kind of a night light because it's different colors. And then I just used one. I used one in my closet because I leave the fan on to keep that closet a little cooler, to get some of the hot air out of the closet here. With a computer running and 3D printer and stuff in there, it gets really hot in that closet. So I vent that out all the time with the circuit that's on the light switch, but then I want the light to turn off and on sometimes. So the socket is on most of the time based on the switch. But then if I want the bulb to go on and off, I use a smart bulb for that. So Sonoff SV is a thermostat with Tasmota. You can use it for home automation as well. Cool, Sebastian. Have you tried it? You don't preheat your bed. You preheat the room. My room is preheated. It's warm in there. That's for sure. Okay, here we go. Marker time. Boom. This, let me go here. Let me get you to the place. Where is, close some of these, close some of these, close some of these, close some of these. Because I want to get to this. This. Okay, here we go, guys. This is amazing. What we've got here. Everybody ready? Buckled in? Got your helmets on? Because your mind's going to go. Keaton Taylor and Alan Aldist, I'd say his name right, are the masterminds behind the She Who Shall Not Be Named media player for Home Assistant, right? If you use Amazon Echo devices, their custom component media player is a must-have. Now, they've taken it to the next level, and this is brand new. Keaton just finished writing it up, and in fact, he was still making a few little changes this morning to the to some of the code that you have to use. But basically, what he's doing here, let's go to this wiki, and this will give you, this example tells you what it does. Basically, you set it up so that there's a trigger from Home Assistant, like a door's been left open too long, or a temperature reaches a certain amount, or certain people are home or not home. And that trigger sets off this skill. Basically, you make your own developer skill, sets off this skill in the She Who Shall Not Be Named app. All right, for 2 months. Do you like unicorns or planes? So unicorns or planes. And once that, when that skill gets triggered, she responds with something like this. I've noticed that the front door has been unlocked for 5 minutes. Would you like me to lock it? And then you say yes, and then she locks the door. Can you believe it? Let's do some planes for Gary. Thank you, Gary. Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. So I read this, and I thought, okay, that is awesome, but it seems like that's going to be pretty hard to do, especially if you're not super savvy like me, okay? But I was wrong. It was not hard to do. I did it. I was kind of half paying attention, trying to take some screenshots while I was doing it and stuff, and I don't think it took me an hour to get it done. And Keaton has done a great job of going through the steps. So first thing you need is this little input text, and you don't have to change anything here. This just sets it up so that there's an input text entity that is an actionable skill test. So this will set it up. You set this up, and this will tell you if you've done it correctly. So you make an input text. I don't know if you can use the helper UI for this. Should really get Frank to record that. to play for you when people subscribe so Frank can say it. I like when I say it like Frank says it. Is it demo time? Yeah, it's demo time. Watch this. I'm going to open this door. I've got mine set so that when this door is open for 3 minutes, it goes off. Okay, so we're going to keep talking. I can put the door stop in. Or else the door will close on its own. Looks like it's going to close anyways. All right, the door is open. The 3-minute countdown is on. Start the timer. 3 minutes, and it'll go off. Uh-oh, live demo. Screw it, we're doing it live. All right, so anyways, you can follow his Keaton's things here, and I will certainly do a full-on video on this because this is just too good. Step 1, input text, entity, no big deal. Step 2, now this is the part where it gets pretty hairy for the new users. Okay, fail. No, well, maybe Renee, we'll see. We'll know in a minute if it's going to fail or not. So you do have to go to the Amazon developer page and log in, and then go through the process of basically creating a skill. You're creating a custom skill that's particular for you. It's going to link to your Home Assistant, and you're going to be the only one that can really use it. It worked last night. What could go wrong? Where's Jim? Where's Jim Ward? Where is he? What could go wrong? It worked last night. It did totally work last night. I live for the day she lets us use custom MP3 audios for non-English text-to-speech. Someday, Thanos, someday. I wonder if you could put... Well, that's interesting. I wonder if you can... Because you're basically doing text-to-speech for her, so I don't know if you put it in a different language of what she comes back with. Anyway, Keaton does a good job here of walking through this. I'm not going to walk you through every bit of it, but he really does a good job. If you just follow the steps, the stuff is right there on the page. When I was doing it, I took a bunch of screenshots to make it easy for somebody to go back through. I need to scrub those screenshots because they do have some, secrets on there. So I'll scrub those off, and we'll make that available as well. And I'll probably use them for video and such. Isn't that crazy? NDs, why is Google Assistant not this open? Isn't that crazy? Why can't we do this with Google Assistant? That's crazy. Thank you for getting us past 75, everybody, by the way. That means we're going to do some unicorns. Because we got past 75. Thank you. Google can do Dutch, but sounds like screwed up English Dutch. Okay. Once you get this skill stuff all done, and we can... Yes. It worked, guys. It worked flipping beautifully. Did you hear her? I don't know if you could hear her or not with the microphone and all that stuff, but the closet door was open for 3 minutes. She said, "The closet door's been open for a while. Would you like me to turn off the light?" And I said, "Yes," and the light went off. Boom! Success! First time, every time. Wish you could hear that better. You heard something? It worked. I promise. Reads each letter one at a time. The only possible workaround is to write Greek English using letters. Oh my gosh. It really doesn't work. Ooh-wee. When you get this done, it's pretty cool. You do set it up as a skill. You go to your She Who Shall Not Be Named app, and it's got a skill there that you invoke or whatever. You enable your own personal skill. Once you're done, you say open custom actions, and this custom actions is something that you put in here as the invocation words. And then she comes back with, "This is a test. Did it work?" And if she says that, then you're golden and you can go on to the next one. So there is a new Betty skill. Wait, what do you mean? Wait, what, Pooh? There's a Betty skill? Yeah, there's less latency on Twitch. There's lots of good reasons to watch on Twitch. If you're sixes, the expression, if you don't care one way or the other, if it's sixes for you, Twitch or YouTube, come on over to Twitch. You're calling her Betty. Oh, gotcha. Everybody, you have crashed my friend's 40th birthday Skype party. Woo! Gate crashed my friend's 40th birthday Skype party. That's awesome. Okay, so the next thing that you can do is set up your first actionable notifications. So first thing that you need is a script. So this is a generic script that sets up these things: text, event ID, and Betty device. And then later when we do, all right, thank you very much, PST play, P Stapley. Why do I have to make that so hard? Oh, thank you very much for following. Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for being here. Anyways, it sets up these fields. And then when you set up automations later, these things here will be put into this script. Sorry, I hit the microphone. So what these stay here right now is just, these are placeholders. You don't have to worry about this. This is, I looked at that and I was like, oh man, am I gonna have to change that every time? No, you don't change that every time. You do put that into the automation though. You will put something for the text, the event ID, and the device name into the automations when we make an automation. We're gonna do Fat Unicorn for you last couple guys that started following. Thank you very much. Twitch buffers more for me on my 6 megabyte connection. Well, sorry, Tech Turtle. Do what makes you do what's good for you. Do what's good for you. We can do trains too. All right, so you do this. You do have there's a point where you have to get this skill. You have to go in and grab the skill from your developer page, your skill ID, and you paste that in there. But that's it. And then everything else on this all stays the same. Okay, so that's a script. That's a script that you set up in Home Assistant. So you have a file, or if you have a scripts.yaml file, you put this in there and you're good to go. This part matters. This is the name for the script. So when you call it later, you got to make sure that this name is the right thing, that you're calling that name. And that's right here. Script.activate actionable notifications. Now the next one is triggering the actionable notification. So here you go. Using the script above, we can trigger the notifications with any automation like this sample. So here we go. The automation, the trigger is whatever you want it to be. In Keaton's example, he said the front door is unlocked basically for 5 minutes. I just said this door was open for 3 minutes as my trigger. Great. So your trigger is whatever you want it to be. Temperature outside, people home, not home, etc. But whatever you want your trigger to be. And then here's the key. The action is to start that script, to run that script. And then to put in for the data, those 3 fields. The text, which is what you want her to say. The event ID, which we have to set up a separate action, just like when we did, or a separate automation. Very similar to when we did actionable notifications for the iOS. You have an automation that brings in your buttons, and then each time you click a button, you have a separate automation for the action for that button. So it works like that. And this event ID is going to be another automation. And so we need to, this name is important to match that second automation that gets activated when you respond to her. Okay. And then this puts in which media player you want her to say this on. So you could set this up so that whatever your trigger is, you can set it to specifically go to whichever echo you want it to go to. And you set it up obviously to say whatever you want it to say, whatever you want her to say. And then this part is the response, the action for the response. So down here is the automation for the action for the response. Let's find. Yes. And this part here, this event ID, needs to match this event ID down here. So whatever you have, you've got 2 automations for 1 notification. Whatever you have for your event ID here needs to match your event ID here. I'm telling you those things several times because I think if people are going to mess up, that's where they're going to mess up. Can you make a conversation out of it with multiple triggers? That's a good question. I'm not sure. I am not sure. We'll have to ask Keaton about that. I don't know. I know you can answer positive or negative. You can answer yes or no. And you can make yes or no be the right answer that triggers an action. I think usually it's the idea was you have one response that triggers an action and the other response she doesn't respond to. But that's where we're at right now. And that's all I know. Maybe Keaton's already knows that there's a potential next step to this. But where we're at right now is still pretty dang cool. So here's the second action. So the second action is basically triggered when this event right here is triggered, right? So this automation triggers this event, and that event being triggered is what starts this next automation. Silly way to do it, but that's the way it works. And then the automation, the action is just whatever you want it to do, like turn the light on, turn the light off. You can make this as complicated as you want. You could probably, why couldn't you? You know what? I bet you could. Depending on what you said here. Okay. Oh, this is the event response is important here as well. So the event response in this case was true. So if you say yes, then she'll lock the door. If you wanted it to say no and have her unlock the door or something, then you make this false. Event response false. I'll bet you though, somebody was saying, can you make a conversation out of it? You sure can, because if you just have a different response. All right. CMDR Sloma, thank you very much for subscribing. Do you like Plains of Unicorns? So Plains of Unicorns. In the meantime, we'll run the fat uni across the screen. So I just saw how that would work. Event data, action notification. Okay, so you get her to do that. You have one that is response true. Oh, here you go. You have one that is response true, but then you have another automation that is response false. Okay. Or whatever you want. Then the action here, instead of actually doing a service, or maybe she could do a service, but you can have more than one action. As a separate action or as a second action, you do another one of these. You set off another action response. And she can say something else. Oh, you don't want me to turn off the light. Well, would you like me to turn up the air conditioning? And you can just keep going, right? So now, what do I do with 1.3 thousand nuts? You keep on making your highlights. Actually, you can do sounds as well. Is there an action for no response? If the only action, if the only trigger here, the only event response that you have something set up for is true, then if you say no, she just stops. It just ends. It just ends. It doesn't keep going. But if you wanted to set one up so that you could say, for example, let's imagine the action that you want is, do you want me to turn the light red or blue? Or say you want me to turn the light red. You can tell her no, and then have an automation here that's where the event response is false. And if you say no, she turns the light blue. You see what I mean? Yes or no, you know what I'm saying? If I say no right now, because all I have set up is an event response that's true, she won't do anything. But I could set up an event response that says that where the event response is false, and then the action is something different. Including, like I just said, including triggering another conversation from her. You could ask her to say, are you sure? Absolutely, Pedro. Absolutely. If you say no, if this one says false, if you put in an automation here that says false with the event response false, and then you can get her to that, you can make false trigger another action with this here that says, are you sure? That doesn't seem like you. You're not acting like yourself. I'm sorry, I can't do that. Or something, right? If you don't respond at all, she probably just stops after a while. Mark's got 20,000 nuts. We come up with some more things. I can set up all kinds of rewards for nuts. And I think a lot of these triggering of things, maybe paging me, those kinds of things, we can make those events something that you can get with nuts. So I didn't see who wanted unicorns. Somebody wanted, so to avoid a false home shutdown, if no one responds, it turns the lights off and walk away. Oh yeah, you could do that too. I see what you're saying. So good question. So if you don't respond at all, is it so like you could get her to say, is anybody home? And what would happen? That's a good question. I'm not sure about that. Pete has 15,000 nuts. Loose nuts at the keyboard. That's right. Make her say loose nut at the keyboard. Oh man. Enough nuts to control the home. That's a good question. I wish Bueller. I wish is it the Nabukasa URL? Yes, Jake. Yes. That's what I used and it worked perfectly. If you don't use Nabukasa, this will still work. If you don't use Nabukasa, this will still work. You can, but you do have to be able to get to it from outside. So you do need like duck DNS Let's Encrypt and a URL from outside that gets you into your Home Assistant instance. That will still work. That's how Keaton did it. Because I asked him, can I use my Nabukasa URL? And he wasn't sure yet. So I used my Nabukasa URL and it worked. So no local URL, local only URL. Good question. Good question. I think it probably would work, but I don't know 100%. I don't know 100%. I'm trying to remember where you put that URL. You put it in the... That's a good question. We'll have to try that and see, Pooh. We'll have to try that and see. As I said, this is brand new. In fact, if you don't have the latest version of Betty Media Player, it won't work. You have to have the latest version. But yeah, it totally works with the Nabukasa URL. That's what I'm using, and it works. Now, that's it. That's it. And now it's like we've got this whole new palette to start to play with to get her to interact. When I saw this, I was reading this, I'm doing this, and it's like the wife acceptance factor, the wife appreciation factor is through the roof on this because I don't know. I think we've talked about this before. I think most of us are significant others. They don't use the user interface very much. If you've got a nice tablet, maybe sometimes they might go press something or look at it to see a camera view or something. But for the most part, they're not sitting down and clicking on things, and they don't have 6 different, user interfaces that they like to use. They just talk to she who shall not be named. That's how it is in my house. That's what the kids do. That's what Mrs. Z's does. So now I can set it up so that it says, it's 9:00. Would you like me to tell everybody it's time for bed? And you can just say yes. You don't have to remember. You don't have to think, oh, it's 9:00 or, oh, geez, I missed it. Now it's 9:30 or, I have to get up and walk over there or, tell everybody it's bedtime. She initiates it based on the trigger. Betty initiates it based on the trigger. This is crazy, crazy good for those of us who depend on her a lot. Hey, dude. Only. Dawson comes in and says, oh, you only have 90 on Twitch? Jeez. Sorry, I had to take a call. But I mean, if there's no response at all, like Alex asks, it looks like no one's home. Should I shut down the house? Yeah, that's a good question. And I'm not sure about that, Steven. We're going to have to test that. And I don't know actually if is Keaton here responding? I don't see Keaton right now. Let's see. Let me just see this. One reason to install on a Raspberry Pi. Yeah, would be nice. Can she tell if it's a holiday or a day you're not studying to decide whether or not to ask? Yes. And that would be where you would do that, Yona, would be in a condition. So for example, in your example, you would say, say you only want her to do it on weekdays. You only want her to say, you know, did you get your homework done on weekdays or something? When you set up the automation, this initial trigger, you could set this up to say, you know, it's 6 p.m. at night. Okay, every night at 6 p.m. But then you just set a condition. You would set a condition, and your condition would be, you know, not Monday or not Saturday and Sunday, right? Or Monday through Friday. You know, so you set a condition based on days of the week, or you set a condition based on who's home. So all those things are possible in the automation part of it, in the initial automation part of it. In order to have tracking of persons in Home Assistant, do they all need to have a user account in Home Assistant? Good question. I don't know. I don't think so. I think they just need a specific device. I think they just need the app installed, the Home Assistant Companion app installed on a specific device. And then that device, in the Companion app, you set that device's name, and that's what shows up as the device tracker. Okay. I'm going to oops, I hit the missile on accident. That was for the device tracker question, Pooh. I just put a marker for the device question. There you go. Scarlax says, nope. You can specify an entity of type person. There you go. There you go. Thank you, Scarlax. And Renee said the same thing or something similar. Or no, not Renee. That was somebody answering Renee. Person tracking does not require an account, but they can be linked. You need a person. You don't need an account. You know, I should be, all right, Uncle Kratos. You know what? We never did. That was funny. Was the missile hit? Yes, the missile hit was an accident. All right, we got some subscribers. Thank you very much, guys. We haven't done, I don't remember who it was that subscribed, but we didn't do anything for them, I remember. So we're going to do this and that. And we're going to do unicorns after this. Could you use Node Red with this? I don't see why not. You know, I think in YAML still. I know Blade. I think Blade's been on vacation or something very much. All right. Man, oh man, we're just going crazy with the subscribers. Thanks, guys. Blatant product advertising. I know I'm trying to get him to sponsor me, Gary. I want a vat. I want a Dr. Pepper, like 300-gallon vat in the attic and just a tube that comes out of the ceiling into my mouth. Yeah, I bet Node Red could trigger it. I'm sure you could do it in Node Red. You know, really, when it comes down to it, Node Red is just a way to package this kind of stuff already. So I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do it. You would still have to set up the script in Home Assistant probably, and the input text, that very first step, that input text step. But as far as this part of it, I don't see why not. I think we're going to have to get Blade to start working on that. Use Node Red to call the script in the data. You could do that. Yep. Yeah. So yes, no problem. You can do it. If you're a Node Red person, this is the way to go. Is the way you visualize your automations. Yeah. I think on Node Red just needs the script. Formatting might be a little different. The majority should be the same. I concur. Thanks for your YouTube videos. You're welcome, Uncle Kratos. They've helped me immensely getting up and running. You are welcome. I'm going to do this again because I like it. The format, yeah. Dr. Pepper is yummy. In fact, I need another one. Oh, no, this one's not quite empty yet. Buffering issues with Twitch? No! YAML for easy automations, Node Red for complex ones. You know, this, I bet you, I would love to see what Blade or some of you other Node Red experts would say about this, because I think it would be really nice to have a node like this, or at least this part of it, that would make it easy to just type in, kind of like what we did with my other actions. You know, we set it up so that in my Node Red, when I do, if I want to make an announcement through She Who Shall Not Be Named, I can do any of these. Like I can just make a new announcement here with this, and they all just link to this. And then this part does, you know, all of the heavy lifting as far as, what the message is and stuff. So I don't have to redo a lot of YAML lines. I just redo this part and then it plugs in here. So there's probably some way to do something similar with this. But Keaton's like me. I think he thinks in YAML. It's not the remote UI URL. At least that didn't work for me. Remote UI URL. You don't want the Lovelace part on the end of it. Let me find mine and I will let me find mine and I'll tell you which part worked and which parts did not. Okay, here we go. Because I do need to fix mine a little bit anyways. Let's open this. I'm opening this off screen because I know there are secrets. I don't want to reveal all the secrets. All right, let's find where we code this. So mine is, mine goes to the HTTPS and then blabbity 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 blah blah .ui.nabu.casa. That's where mine goes. Verify SSL true. So I imagine you're already deep into it, right? Just wrote a tutorial for iOS actionable notifications in Node-RED. Maybe I'll take a look at this and write a tutorial for that too. Thank you, Steven. Post your tutorial, buddy. I want to see it. Idaho Joe, how you been? Have I heard Tuya recently started the lockdown support outside the infrastructure? Yeah. Forced their products and services. I wonder how that impacts Tuya and Home Assistant. Here's my 2 cents, Idaho Joe. I don't think it's going to impact the Home Assistant integration at all. What they did was they just dropped here. Let's do this. This is for Paul. Oh, the Zigbee. Oh, the Zigbee. What Tuya did was just they dropped support for if this then that. If this then that is an expensive service for those companies. They have to pay based on how many times it gets triggered or something like that, and it's not cheap. So, and nobody uses it, and it's not a very good service. I mean, I don't say nobody uses it because Paul uses it. So a lot of very important people use it, right, Paul? Like Paul. But I don't see, personally, I could be wrong. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. But I don't see them dropping support for Amazon Echo, and I don't see them dropping support for Google Home. I think if this then that is falling way behind those others as an integration platform. And so dropping if this then that is a business decision, and it is based on corporate greed. Oh, the corporate greed. Oh, the corporate greed. And then the other reason, the more important reason why I don't think it's going to impact Home Assistant's integration is because that costs Tuya nothing. To integrate with Home Assistant costs Tuya nothing. So they have no reason to try and take it away. I mean, all they're doing by keeping a Home Assistant integration is opening up their products to a DIY community like us that is okay with, well, some of us that are okay with their cloud component. That's it. Because with the Tuya integration and Home Assistant, you have to use their cloud. Some people don't want to do that, so they use Tuya, or so they use Tasmota or something. Great. But if you don't care about their cloud, it works fine. Works beautifully, honestly. I've used it for a couple things. This lamp right here on my desk uses it still. I didn't flash this lamp. It just uses the Tuya component. So that's my 2 cents. Oh, the Zigbee. Oh, the Zigbee. My 2 cents, only to support the company. I believe you don't get anything extra that you can't do for yourself. So you guys are talking about Nabu Casa. That's the truth. That's the truth. Nabu Casa, the subscription for Nabu Casa makes a few things easier, and it supports Paulus and Frank and some of those guys that work full time on Home Assistant now. So if you've got the $5 and you're willing to buy those guys, a hamburger once a month, then then it's worth doing. But if you can't, if you don't want to, it is not at all necessary or required, and you can do everything that you want to do without Nabu Casa. That was the Nabu Casa not required plug as well. When are we going to get Paul DrZzs collab? I hope so. Paul said I invited him to come on the stream sometime, and he said he thinks he would pass out. I don't think he would. He's a good dude. I like Paul. He's fun to watch. After 3 years of playing with Sonoff and eWeLink, DrZzs, DigiBlur, the Hookup, and 1M all helped me get over being scared to flash and go to Home Assistant. Thank goodness, Stove Doctor. Thank goodness. I'm glad you made it. You made it over the hill. Here you are. Look at you now. I'm sure you could get him mildly sedated. I was watching his videos. Another thing I love about Paul, he does a lot of product review focused videos, but he doesn't mind doing other videos as well. I watched a video of him playing VR or something silly like that, like playing Half-Life in VR. He's just a funny dude, he's got an entertaining way to talk. He'd be a hoot to just sit down and hang out with. So I'm glad that there's guys like that making videos. So keep it up, Paul. Oh, the Zigbee. Oh, the Zigbee. That's going down in history. That is now part of smart home lore forever. Oh, the Zigbee. And I'm sure he didn't plan it. It was just spontaneous. It just came out. He just decided pelvic thrust and oh, the Zigbee. And here we are. Oh, my goodness me. Oh, my goodness me. All right. Where else? Okay, so what we need, and I talked to Keaton about this as well, what we need are many, many, many ideas for how to use this trigger. Okay, so this is a call for ideas now. I'm calling for ideas. Keaton is calling for ideas about how to use this. Let's fill this page with examples of ways that you would want a response from Betty. What kind of things would you want her to remind you about? When would you want her to initiate some kind of a conversation with you? And what would you want her response to be? What would you want her to control? There was a couple of really good ideas here about what happens if you don't respond. Like she says, is anybody home? Nobody responds, then she takes an action. That's really cool. And if somebody responds, then she doesn't take the action, right? What else? What other ideas? I want to hear them as you think about them. Post them in Discord, post them here, just go to issues or something and post them, and give these guys the feedback, because I think this has got really, really amazing potential to do some really fun stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking, it's like you get so excited, you're like, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I can't think of anything. I want some ideas. Ooh, yes, stuff like that. Perfect. Yona, perfect. You could have, so is it only Betty? Yeah, I think so, Stove Doctors. Right now it is. I don't know that Google can do this. Maybe they've got the functionality, but nobody has gone in and done the programming like Alan and Keaton have done with this. It's so funny, those two guys. Alan and Keaton are the main guys behind the Amazon Echo media player, right? And whenever I try and give one of them credit, they always give the credit to the other one. I tell Keaton, this is amazing. He goes, well, Alan did most of it. So I go, okay. So I go to Alan. Alan, this is amazing. Thank you so much. And he goes, well, it was all Keaton. So the fridge door's open, a PIR plus light, no movement. Should I turn on the light? Perfect. Yep. I haven't noticed any movement. Should I turn the light off? Great. I like the one about, so remember we go back a few months now, and we set up a calendar with notifications from Google Calendar, by the Google Calendar component in Home Assistant, to let you know like scores of your sporting events. If your team has a public Google Calendar, you can set it up so that it has a sporting event. Great. You could set it up so that she says, hey, the Wolverines are playing in 10 minutes. Would you like me to turn on the Big Ten Network on the Roku? Yes, I would. And she can do it, right? So, oh my gosh. When Frank starts a stream, DrZzs is streaming. Would you like me to, turn on the TV? Great. you know? What else? Just a reminder, your free paid Twitch. Oh, yes, please. Thank you very much for subscribing. Bathrooms. My kids leave the lights on all the time. I have timers, but they take a shower and it can't be a problem. Is somebody in the bathroom? Yes. Don't turn the light off. Hey, Whiskers is here. You could have Home Assistant detect when somebody is streaming and have her ask if you want to start the stream on the Chromecast. You got it. That's right. At night when I go to bed, currently I have an actionable notification that goes to my phone to ask if I want the radio on in the morning. It turns on the radio skill in the morning based on what time I have to set the alarm. Having her announce this would be nice versus through the phone. You betcha. And I've had it where, like, I've got an actionable notification on my phone where it checks the temperature certain months out of the year, it checks the temperature outside, checks the temperature inside, and sends me an action on my phone that says, do you want me to turn on the fan in the house? That's great if I get it. But wouldn't it be, I don't know if it's hot or cold or what's going on in the house. I get it. I'm at work. And sometimes I go, yeah, probably turn the fan on. But I could do the same thing and have her just say it out loud. And then Mrs. Z's can tell her yes or no. Right? Yes, turn the fan on. No, turn the fan off. You don't have any Betty devices? Oh, come on, Brendan. You got to fix that. You have a problem with the way they work? All right. Well, I can understand that. That would be handy, the bathroom thing. It would be, wouldn't it? Yeah, setting your alarm in the morning. You know, it's 10 o'clock. Are you going to get up on time tomorrow? If you open a window and the thermostat is on, do you want her to turn off the thermostat? That's true. I've noticed you got the windows open and the air conditioning's on. Would you like me to turn off the air conditioning? Yes or no, right? Only G Minis? Well, Pedro and G Mini friends, we gotta get this up to speed for you somehow. I don't know who can do that, but somebody could. Too invested to switch 8 Google Home devices. Darn it, William. Darn it. I feel for you guys. Google Home is pretty great. I like my Google Home hub here. We certainly have 3 Google Home Minis out there in the house. It's time for work. Would you like me to turn on the coffee machine? Beautiful, Mark. Beautiful. Perfect. Exactly what we're looking for. Speaking of, I did do, you remember a couple of streams ago? I'm not going to do the marker again. A couple streams ago, we talked about, don't touch your face. A couple streams ago, we talked about how to get your RTSP enabled Wise cameras to reconnect. And we had, what was his name? Was it Peter? Sorry, buddy, I can't remember his name, but we had a fellow on who made up a little tutorial, and he basically made a smart USB switch, and then a curl command that would check the status of that camera. And if it ever found that camera was off, that was not broadcasting RTSP, it would power it off and power it back on. Beautiful, right? And what I did was I just took the little Sonoff USB that I didn't have a use for, because all those Wise cameras are powered. They're powered with a USB cable. They just have their little Wise power adapter that's just a regular sort of phone charger with a USB-C or USB-A input. I think it's A. So yeah, I just put the Sonoff thing in line there and can do the same thing with that. 6 Google Homes. Oh man, Tech Turtle. All right. Well, let's put some pressure. Who does integrations for Google Home stuff? You know, I know, like Paulus and the gang have like the casting to Google Home and stuff, and the Google Home media player has been a part of Home Assistant for a long time. So if this Home Assistant, or if this is available for Google Home, those guys can probably make it happen. 5 minutes after she reminds me to take blood pressure, have her ask if I did. If I ignore her, then 10 minutes later, she asks again, depending on the response. There you go. Bearded Tinker is a Google Home guy too. Okay. Glad to be of assistance. All right. Good deal. Good deal. Well, fellas, what else you want to talk about? We got a few more minutes before I got to pack my bags and get in the car and head down to this little guys weekend. taking Jackson and his buddies, and we're going to go just have a little weekend in a Airbnb house to spend some time. It's his birthday, it's graduation, all this. So we're going to go have a little weekend, which means I don't know about streaming. I don't know what we're going to be doing. I'm going to take my laptop. If the opportunity presents itself, I'll stream. If we're busy doing stuff, then I won't be able to. If I do stream on, thank you, Violent Poo. If I do stream on Sunday, it'll probably be later, but watch for it. Now, do I have Mother's Day this Sunday as well? I know, right? I know. So we got to get home for Mother's Day. Don't forget Mother's Day. Now, Violent Poo just reminded me. Some of you may have received a notice, depending on how your notification for the stream being live works. If it's based on this Twitch state of the Twitch component and my state, then you may have gotten a little bit of a false alarm the other night. The reason for that is because all right, thank you very much, Traxxas. Oh, yeah, that is the coolest thing ever. You can use nuts for that? Oh, no, you can use bits for that. Rah, rah, rah. I love that. That is so cool. Thank you very much, Traxxas. Was that Traxxas? Is that what it said? Yes, Traxius. Dude, that's awesome. Thank you very much. That was fantastic. So what happened? What happened with that? What happened with that false alarm notification is Twitch started, or they've got an option for us to be able to make or to run reruns. So basically, we can set old streams to just run on the channel. So if you go to Twitch, it could just be running an old stream all the time. You can also go there and play replays. You can go there and watch old streams, but they don't last forever unless we specifically save them. I think we can upload them, specifically save them, and then they'll last. You can also go to YouTube and watch them. So the question for all of you fellas and gals, if there's any out there, is do you want us to run the reruns or not? It doesn't affect the average number of viewers, so it doesn't hurt or help with getting to that partner status we're trying to get to. It would. I'm afraid it would set off that notification for a lot of people, and it would kind of be the boy crying wolf. Then when I really am live, they're like, "Well, is he really live, or is this just another rerun?" Did I give you a heart attack? It helps you earn nuts. Oh, okay. That's good. How's the progress towards partner status going? It's going fantastic. We stay like this. I mean, we're at 90 viewers right now. More Z's on the airwaves. How's the progress towards partner status? Yes. It does set off the notification. And I don't know how to not do that. So if setting off the notification is a problem, I mean, running the reruns it's not like there's not another way. You could just go watch them. I don't know if you earn nuts like Violent Pooh says, but you probably do. He knows what he's talking about. Are we going to do another raid at the end of the stream? We better go look and see if anybody's available. We better start now. If you guys have channels that you think we should raid, let me know. Yeah, I got notified at 2 a.m. Yeah. Yeah, I think Twerner, I'm kind of with you on that. And if we had overwhelming support to say one way or the other, if it wasn't for the false alarms, then I would say why not? The false alarms make it kind of a problem. The other thing we can do, and we're going to have to think about this as things start to get back to new normal, whatever they're talking about, new normal, is I'm not going to be able to stream in the daytime if I get back to working full time. Like this time of day during the week is not going to be very frequent. I will have to stream more like in the afternoons and evenings when I get home from work, which I'm happy to do. But that would change the times a lot. Once you hit partner, then you can't live stream on both. You can only live stream on Twitch. Show me where that's at, Idaho Joe, so I can interpret or whatever. I don't know if that's true. I don't know why they would limit you like that. I mean, they don't know that I'm streaming on both anyways. They just know I'm streaming. YouTube, I think I don't know if Twitch says that as a baseline, but YouTube certainly says you're not supposed to stream on both. Okay, we're up to... Oh, why has our average gone down? Oh, maybe because the beginning of this stream, it was down a little bit lower. Or maybe one of the higher streams dropped off. I don't know. This was at 42 last night. 49 hours of streaming. We're at 33. We'll get there. We'll get there. Aren't you partnered already? No, there's another level. I have affiliate, but there's another level with partner, and it lets you do some other things. Gives you some more emotes, gives you different streaming priority based on bit rate and blah, blah, blah. And the rerun alert was disruptive. Can always watch YouTube. In fact, I a lot to go over and watch the teaching us. Okay. I think my feeling is we probably won't do the reruns. I think the false alarms is too bad. I haven't streamed in 3 days. Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe it just dropped off some good stream. YouTube's better for rerun. Twitch needs to have exclusivity for 24 hours at least, so you can't stream both. Okay. Well, we'll see. I guess I don't have to apply for or accept partner. We can just achieve it and go from there. All right, let's look at who is... This girl is always streaming. Who is this guy? Ooh, that looks like a good one. What's he doing? Let's find that guy's channel for a second first. Well, let's call the kids up for sign off. Yeah, sure. We're gonna bring up the kids for sign off. Not seeing an exclusive clause? We'll certainly look into it. We'll look into it and we'll do it good. Watching Twitcher the other day, it had 20,000 views in 3 minutes. Yeah. Some people are crazy good. Just stream one time in a month with 35 on Twitch. Bam, loophole. Yeah, it doesn't work that way, Jim. It's got to be averaged over 30 days, and you've got to have all those other things as well. My nose is running. It must be... Did I miss the whole live? Yeah, Timmy, we started a little bit later today, or earlier. Sorry, we started a little bit earlier, but you can go back and watch it. You go back and watch it. It's going to be good. All right, let's go out here to this channel. We're going to go pop over here for a minute. All right, kiddies. Oh, you got a Unichin. You got a Unichin. Is he really live?
Dad, are you going to live stream on
Yeah, he is live.
Sunday?
Oh, he's just playing. He's just watching TV?
Daddy, are you going to live stream on Sunday?
If I'm home. It's also Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So this lady, this Luna Lux, have you guys seen her? Okay, here's... Oh, everybody's just streaming this? That's lame. Not doing that. Those are the only people in science and technology right now.
That's his unicorn. Daddy,
Making and crafting.
Wait, what? Is that a YouTube channel?
Let's go here.
You can watch that.
Let's go back to this. We're going to go here. We're just going to see who's out there. Okay?
Daddy, you have a unicorn. So.
Let's improve. Of course, I like to find somebody who has less viewers than what we currently have. 2D online game development. A lot of these are game development stuff. You guys interested in that? Hey, that's me. Server rack installation. You guys want to go to server rack installation? Design patterns. JSON to real database. Oh boy. Holy Swift. Happy App Sprint 2 iOS. Code Z VS Code release. What do you think? What do you think? Go with the original? Let's try. I would say either server rack installation or this guy. Server rack? Who says server rack?
Ooh.
JSON to a real database. Developing.
He is a he's a weird. They're also.
Let's do the server rack guy. Okay. Server rack guy. Coming at you, buddy. Yeah? What do you think? Server rack? Okay, we got a few server racks. All right, then. We're going. We got to follow him first. And then it'll give me the option to rate him. Okay. So now, you kiddies, let's do... Oh, come on over here, Luke. You don't want to be on TV? There's people watching. Look at all those kids on there. You're so good. Give me some knuckles. Okay. All right. So how you guys want to sign off today?
Nothing.
In Spanish. Spanish, but adios in English. Okay, let's give it a try. Como siempre, gracias por vernos. Hasta la próxima. Goodbye. No, it wouldn't be goodbye. It would be to God, because you're basically sending people to may God be with you, kind of a thing. So is that not it? Hasta. No, let's see. Como siempre. Gracias por ver.
Gracias por ver.
Hasta la próxima.
Hasta la vista.
God be with you.
God be with you.
Okay, now let's do this. Go with God. That's it. Go with God. Okay, now we're going to raid this channel. Chris Titus Tech. He's the guy, right? Here goes. Raid. Okay, I think it sent me there. I think it sent us there. Raid now. See you guys.
It's almost 11.
Here's the new stream chat. Howdy.
I don't think
Raid time. It's a raid. It never fails. Makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail. Raid time. Farting unicorns.
Where's the Dr. Pepper? Do the Dr. Pepper.
DrZzs.
Dr. Pepper.
And some rock-ons.
Dr. Pepper. Adios.
And some Dr. Peppers.
Dad, give me your ring. I mean, give me one of your hands. What's the bug? Dad, give me one of your hands.
Read the chat, pleb. We'll leave in a few minutes. All right. That's it, everybody. Thanks a lot.